Social control and deviance. Introduction. Just as deviance is socially constructed, so also are the measures employed to limit it. Social control refers to the efforts of a group or society to regulate the behavior of its members in conformity with established norms. In this study session, you will focus on the agents and types of social control. It will also look into how conformity is related to social control. Learning outcomes. After you have studied this study session, you should be able to 1. Describe briefly the agents of social control. 2. Identify the types of social control. 3. Enumerate the Hershey's control theory. Agents of social control. Agents of social control include parents, kinsmen, employer and fellow workers, community elders, neighbors, local leaders, government officers, the courts, the police, and the army. Marcioni's 1995 asserts that considerable social control is exercised within the family as parents socialize their children into proper behavior and punish them for deviance, and kinsmen press for conformity to community norms. For instance, community elders often deal with offenders even though they have been recently deprived of the courts they formerly run. People come to them for the settlement of disputes and abide by their decisions. Types of social control. There are two major types of social control: informal and formal sanctions. 1. Informal sanctions. These are unofficial, often caused by pressures to conform. The informal sanctions are positive and negative sanctions. Positive informal sanctions involve rewards for conformity, such as a smile, a kiss, and a word of approval. Negative informal sanctions involve informal penalties for not conforming, such as ridicule or ostracism. Informal social control usually remains strong in indigenous areas of towns and operates in other neighbors with a relatively stable population or where cohesive community has developed. 2. Formal sanctions. Formal sanctions are official, institutionalized incentives to conform and penalties for deviance. Formal sanctions are especially needed in large complex societies such as our own, where people hold competing ideas about appropriate behavior and the power of informal sanctions is diluted. Calhoun, Light and Keller, 1997. They emphasize that the criminal justice suit is the most important and visible institution of social control in modern societies. Unlike the informal social control, the formal social control is in the hands of the police and the courts. Hershey's control theory. Based on Durkheim's analysis of deviance, Hershey 1969 control theory assumes that everyone finds at least some deviance tempting. What requires explanation is not deviance, but conformity. Hershey therefore suggests that conformity arises from 4 types of social controls. They are: 1. Attachment. Strong social attachments to others encourage conformity. Weak relationships in the family, peer group, and school leave people freer to engage in deviance. 2. Commitment. The higher one's commitment to legitimate opportunity, the greater the advantages of conformity. A young person bound for college with good career prospects has a stake in conformity. In contrast, someone with little confidence in future success is more likely to drift toward deviance. 3. Involvement. Extensive involvement in legitimate activities such as holding a job, going to school, completing homework, or pursuing hobbies inhibits deviance. People with little legitimate involvement who simply hang out waiting for something to happen have time and energy for deviant activity. 4. Belief. Strong beliefs in conventional morality and respect for authority figures also restrain tendencies toward deviance. People with weak beliefs are more vulnerable to temptation toward deviance. Study session summary. In this study session, we described agents of social control and the two major types of social control, which include informal and formal sanctions. We also explained Hirsch's theory of social control. This theory shows how conformity is related to deviant behavior. That ends study session 7. Thank you for listening.